When people see Fate and see its timeline and how all of the series link together, they get scared and confused because of how complicated it is. But little do most of them know that Fate is a part of something much, much greater. The Nasuverse, in which there is obviously Fate, but also Tsukihime, Mahotsukai no Yoru, and Kara no Kyokai, as well as probably many other properties that even I don't know about. Now, linking Fate series together is hard enough as it is, but what if we try to link everything in the Nasuverse together? Well, in reality that's not actually as hard as it sounds. But how do they link? How do we link Tsukihime to Mahotsukai no Yoru, to Kara no Kyokai, to Fate? Well, there's a reason I said them in the order that I did, and that's because that's realistically how strongly they link to each other, with Tsukihime and Fate having the weakest link to each other, whereas Mahotsukai no Yoru has a strong link to both Tsukihime and Kara no Kyokai. So, how do they link? Well, let's start with Mahotsukai no Yoru. How does it link to Tsukihime? Well, that one is incredibly simple. Mahotsukai no Yoru focuses on Aozaki Aoko, who, if you don't know, is the person that gives Shiki, or well, Tono Shiki, the main character of Tsukihime, the glasses that he wears to suppress the Mystic Eyes of Death perception. So it's very simple how we link those two of Aozaki Aoko shows up in both. She is a prevalent character in both Tsukihime and Mahotsukai no Yoru. However, how do we link Mahotsukai no Yoru to Kara no Kyokai? Well, this one, it's a bit more in-depth, but it's not even that. There's a bit more to it than just, oh, there's a character overlap. Instead of a character overlap, well, there is a character overlap, but because we've already mentioned Aozaki Aoko, and I want to keep as little complication in this, I want to keep this as least complicated as I can. We're going to have as few characters mentioned as possible, but Aozaki Aoko's sister is in Kara no Kyokai, Aozaki Toko. And well, they're sisters, so that's how you link Mahotsukai no Yoru to Kara no Kyokai. Pretty simple. And then how do we link Kara no Kyokai to Fate? Well, Heaven's Feel does that for us wonderfully with Aozaki Toko appearing at the end of Heaven's Feel 3, spoilers by the way, when she creates and gives the mannequin to Sakura and Rin, so they can put Shiro's soul into it so he can have a new body. So that's how we link those, and that's how they overall link, primarily through Aozaki Aoko and her family relations, because Fate links to Kara no Kyokai through Aozaki Toko, which links to Mahotsukai no Yoru, which due to Aozaki Aoko links to Tsukihime. So that's what I mean when I say that Fate and Tsukihime have a relatively weak link, is because you have to go through that long-winded chain to get to the other series. However, there is a light stipulation I have to make, especially with Tsukihime and Kara no Kyokai, primarily because of the two Shikis, but not so because of them as individuals, but mainly because of their ability that they share, the Mystic Eyes of Death perception, and how rare of an ability it is. And as such, they realistically can't exist at the same time. Hence why they exist in alternate universes within the Nasuverse. But how that starts getting intertwined is obviously much more messy, but it's all related to Aozaki Aoko. Presumably, you can think of it this way. In the Tsukihime timeline or universe, Aozaki Aoko goes on and gives Shiki his glasses, whereas in the Kara no Kyokai universe, because Shiki doesn't have the Tono Shiki doesn't have the Mystic Eyes of Death perception, and Ryogi Shiki does, there is no need for her to give Shiki his glasses, so she never meets him, and as such, Tsukihime itself doesn't happen in the way it does, as such, different universe. And then from there, we link into Fate from the Kara no Kyokai universe, although Fate realistically probably takes place in a third separate one where neither Shikis exist, but that's a whole other kettle of fish that we're not going to get into, because this was a simple video linking the at least four major properties that I know of in the Nasuverse owned by Type Moon, linking them together. And if you like this video or learn anything from it, leave a like, comment, sub, hit the notification bell, you know the usual YouTube thing. And with all that said, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I'll see you all next time for another video. Ta-ta, for now.